15 years. That's how long I spent drinking. 15 years of my life where alcohol wasn't just part of my routine, it was my routine. It was my celebration, my comfort, my escape, my everything. And then one day, I made a decision. Just one decision. And everything changed. This is the story of those 15 years, and the single moment that saved my life. I still remember my first drink. I was young, curious, wanting to fit in. Everyone was doing it, so why not me? It made me feel confident, loose, like I could finally be the person I wanted to be. At first, it was just weekends. Just parties. Just social drinking. I told myself I had it under control. I wasn't like those people who had problems. I was just having fun, living my life, enjoying my youth. But looking back now, I can see the signs were already there. The way I looked forward to Friday nights a little too much. The way one drink was never enough. The way I felt incomplete without it. But I ignored all of that. Because I didn't have a problem. I was fine. Everything was fine. Years 2 through 5 were subtle. The drinking increased so gradually I barely noticed. Weekends turned into Thursday through Sunday. Social drinking turned into drinking alone sometimes. 1 or 2 drinks turned into 5 or 6. I started needing alcohol to feel normal. To relax after work. To deal with stress. To celebrate good news. To cope with bad news. Every emotion, every situation had alcohol attached to it. My tolerance grew. What used to get me tipsy barely affected me anymore. I needed more to feel the same effect. And I told myself this was fine. I was just building tolerance. I was becoming a better drinker. Like it was some kind of achievement. The scary part? Nobody around me seemed worried. Because everyone was drinking too. It was normalized. Expected. Celebrated even. By year 7 or 8, I couldn't imagine my life without alcohol. It was woven into every aspect of my existence. Work happy hours. Weekend barbecues. Date nights. Watching sports. Watching movies. Celebrating. Mourning. Everything. I had built my entire social life around drinking. My friends were drinking friends. My hobbies involved drinking. My identity was tied to being the fun guy, the party guy, the guy who could always drink everyone under the table. I started lying about how much I drank. Hiding bottles. Drinking before events so I wouldn't drink too much at the event, which is insane when you think about it. I was managing my drinking by drinking more. And still, I didn't think I had a problem. Because I held down a job. I paid my bills. I hadn't lost everything. Yet. The blackouts started becoming regular. I'd wake up not remembering how I got home. What I said. What I did. I'd check my phone with dread, scrolling through messages I didn't remember sending. My health started deteriorating. I gained weight. My skin looked terrible. I was tired all the time but couldn't sleep well. My hands shook in the mornings. I had constant anxiety. Relationships started suffering. Arguments with loved ones. Missed commitments. Broken promises. But I always had an excuse. I was stressed. Work was hard. They didn't understand. It wasn't my fault. I got warnings. From my doctor about my liver enzymes. From my family about my behavior. From friends who were worried. But I brushed them all off. I'd cut back. Starting Monday. Starting next month. Starting next year. But I never did. Around year 10, I started having what I now call my rock bottom moments. Plural. Because I hit bottom multiple times, and somehow found ways to dig deeper. There was the DUI I barely avoided. The job I almost lost. The relationship that ended because of my drinking. The emergency room visit. The morning I woke up and didn't recognize myself in the mirror. Each time, I tell myself this was it. This was my wake-up call. I'd quit for a week, maybe 2. Feel better. Feel proud. And then something would happen. Stress, celebration, boredom, it didn't matter. I'd convince myself I could handle just one drink. And just one drink always turned into 10. Because that's what addiction does. It lies to you. It tells you this time will be different. This time you have control. But you never do. Let me tell you what 15 years of drinking cost me. And I don't just mean money, though I probably spent enough to buy a house. I lost relationships. Real, meaningful relationships with people who loved me and tried to help me, but eventually had to walk away to protect themselves. I lost opportunities. Jobs I didn't get because I showed up hungover to interviews. Promotions I missed because my performance was inconsistent. Dreams I abandoned because I was too drunk or too hungover to pursue them. I lost time. 15 years where I was present but not really there. Thousands of moments I can't remember. Experiences I had but have no memory of. Time with people I loved that's just gone. I lost myself. Somewhere in those 15 years, the person I was supposed to become got buried under bottles and hangovers and broken promises. Year 15. I was sitting alone in my apartment on a Tuesday afternoon, drinking straight from the bottle, and I had this moment. This crystal clear moment where I saw my entire life laid out in front of me. I could see exactly where I was headed. And it terrified me. I wasn't going to magically get better. This wasn't a phase I'd grow out of. Every year, every month, every day I continued drinking, I was choosing this path. And this path only led to one place, complete destruction or death. I had a choice to make. Right then. Right there. Continue down this path and lose everything, including my life. Or choose something different. Something terrifying and unknown, but at least it was a chance. And for the first time in 15 years, I chose me. I didn't wake up one morning feeling ready. I didn't have some grand revelation or spiritual awakening. I was scared, desperate, and completely broken. But I made a decision. Just one decision. I decided that I was done. Not I'll try to quit. Not I'll cut back. Not starting tomorrow. I was done. Right then. That very moment. I poured out every bottle in my apartment. I deleted my dealer's number. I called someone I trusted and told them I needed help. My hands were shaking. I was crying. I was terrified. But I did it. That single decision, made in a moment of desperate clarity, changed the trajectory of my entire life. Those first 24 hours were hell. Pure hell. The physical withdrawals started almost immediately. Sweating, shaking, nausea. But worse than the physical symptoms was the mental torment. My brain was screaming at me. Telling me I'd made a mistake. That I needed a drink. That I couldn't do this. Every few minutes I'd think about going to the store. I'd imagine the relief of that first sip. I'd convince myself that maybe I was being too dramatic. Maybe I didn't really have a problem. But I didn't drink. I called my support person every hour. I took it 1 hour at a time. Sometimes 1 minute at a time. I distracted myself with anything I could find. TV, walks, cold showers, anything. And somehow, impossibly, I made it through that first day. The first week was a blur of withdrawal symptoms, cravings, and emotional chaos. My body was rebelling against my decision. It wanted what it had been getting for 15 years. I couldn't sleep. When I finally did, I had vivid nightmares about drinking. I'd wake up in panic, checking to make sure I hadn't actually done it. Everything reminded me of drinking. The time of day. Certain songs. Passing by bars. Seeing commercials. Opening the fridge where bottles used to be. But something was happening. Slowly, gradually, my mind was starting to clear. The fog that had been there for so long was beginning to lift. And underneath it, I could see the person I used to be. The person I could still become. By the end of the first month, the physical symptoms had mostly subsided. But the mental battle was just beginning. I had to relearn how to live. How to socialize without drinking. How to deal with stress without alcohol. How to celebrate, how to relax, how to just exist without my crutch. Everything felt raw and uncomfortable. Like my skin didn't fit right. Like I was walking around without armor in a world full of threats. I avoided situations where there would be alcohol. I said no to invitations. I isolated myself because it felt safer. But I was sober. And every day sober was a victory. I started noticing changes. I was sleeping better. I had more energy. My mind was clearer. I could remember entire days. These small improvements kept me going. Around month 2 or 3, the real work began. Because getting sober forced me to confront everything I'd been running from for 15 years. All the pain I'd been numbing. All the trauma I'd been avoiding. All the issues I'd been drowning in alcohol. They were all still there, waiting for me. I had to face the person I'd become. The people I'd hurt. The opportunities I'd wasted. The 15 years I couldn't get back. I started therapy. I joined support groups. I began the painful process of looking at myself honestly for the first time in years. And what I saw was hard to accept. But acceptance was the first step toward change. Months 3 through 6 were about rebuilding. Building a new life from the ground up. I had to find new hobbies. Discover what I actually enjoyed doing sober. Reconnect with old interests I'd abandoned. Create new routines that didn't revolve around drinking. I started exercising. Reading. Learning. Doing all the things I'd said I would do for years but never did because I was too busy drinking. I began the process of repairing relationships. Some people welcomed me back. Others weren't ready to forgive. Some relationships were too damaged to fix. I had to accept all of it. I was building a new identity. Not the drinking guy. Not the party guy. Just me. The real me. And figuring out who that was after 15 years of hiding behind alcohol was terrifying and exhilarating. Even months into sobriety, the temptations didn't stop. They just changed. There were moments of weakness. Bad days where I thought one drink wouldn't hurt. Good days where I wanted to celebrate the old way. Boring days where I missed the excitement that drinking provided. I learned that recovery isn't linear. Some days I felt strong and confident. Other days I felt like I was hanging on by a thread. Both were normal. I had close calls. Moments where I was seconds away from throwing it all away. But I developed tools. I learned to call someone. To play the tape forward and remember where drinking always led me. To get through the craving, because cravings always pass. Every time I resisted, I got a little stronger. The temptations got a little easier to manage. Not gone, but manageable. Hitting 1 year sober was surreal. 365 days without alcohol after 15 years of daily drinking. I barely recognized the person I'd become. I'd lost weight. My skin was clear. My eyes were bright. But more than the physical changes, I'd changed inside. I'd rebuilt my self-esteem. Proven to myself that I could keep a promise, could achieve a goal, could change. After years of breaking every promise I made to myself and others, I'd finally done something I said I would do. I'd repaired some relationships. Not all, but some. I'd shown up consistently for the people who mattered. I'd been present, really present, for an entire year. I'd discovered who I was without alcohol. And I liked this person. For the first time in years, I actually liked myself. But here's what they don't tell you: sobriety isn't a destination. It's a journey that continues every single day. I still think about drinking sometimes. Not often, but it happens. Usually when I'm stressed or when something triggers a memory. I still have to work on my recovery. Attend meetings. Talk to my therapist. Stay connected to my support system. It's not something I can ever take for granted. I've learned that the decision I made wasn't just one decision. It's a decision I have to make every day. Every day I wake up and choose sobriety. Choose myself. Choose life. Some days that choice is easy. Some days it's the hardest thing I do. But I make it. Every single day, I make it. The person I am today is unrecognizable from the person I was 15 years ago. Hell, from the person I was 2 years ago. I have a career I'm proud of. I show up consistently, perform well, and have earned trust and respect. I have genuine relationships. People who know the real me, not the drunk version. People who I can be vulnerable with, who support my recovery. I have hobbies and interests that fulfill me. I've discovered passions I didn't know I had. I've accomplished things I never thought possible. I have peace. Real peace. Not the fake, temporary peace that alcohol provided, but genuine inner peace. I can sit with myself, with my thoughts, without needing anything to alter my state. But I need to be honest with you. Sobriety isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I still struggle. With anxiety, with depression, with all the underlying issues that led me to drink in the first place. The difference is now I have to face them head on. Life is still hard. Bills still need to be paid. Relationships still require work. Stress still exists. Sobriety doesn't solve everything. It just gives you the tools to handle everything without destroying yourself. Some days I miss the ease of drinking. I miss the instant relief, the quick escape. I miss not having to feel everything so intensely. But I don't miss the hangovers. The shame. The broken promises. The person I was when I was drinking. I don't miss losing entire days, hurting people I love, watching my life fall apart. Not everyone stayed in my life. Some people I lost before I got sober because of my drinking. Some I lost after because our relationship was built on alcohol. There are relationships I'll never repair. Bridges I burned that can't be rebuilt. People who gave me chance after chance until they couldn't anymore. That hurts. It will always hurt. I carry the weight of those losses with me. But I've also gained people. Real friends who support my recovery. People who see me for who I am now, not who I was. Relationships built on honesty, vulnerability, and genuine connection. I've had to grieve the relationships I lost while celebrating the ones I've built. It's bittersweet, but it's real. Let's talk about money for a second. 15 years of daily drinking isn't just emotionally and physically expensive. It's financially devastating. I calculated once how much I spent on alcohol over those 15 years. The number made me sick. I could have bought a house, put a kid through college, traveled the world. Instead, I literally pissed it all away. Getting sober, I've been able to rebuild financially. Save money. Pay off debts. Actually have something to show for my work instead of empty bottles. But the financial damage took time to repair. There were consequences that lasted beyond the drinking. Legal fees. Medical bills. Debt accumulated during those years. Money doesn't fix everything, but financial stability gives you options. And sobriety gave me back my financial future. My body took a beating during those 15 years. And the recovery process physically was its own journey. The first few months sober, I actually felt worse physically. My body was detoxing, healing, adjusting. It was uncomfortable and sometimes scary. But then things started improving. My liver enzymes normalized. My blood pressure dropped. I lost weight. My sleep improved. The constant anxiety lessened. I started treating my body with respect. Exercising. Eating better. Actually caring about my health for the first time in years. I still deal with consequences of those 15 years. Some damage was permanent. But I stopped the progression. I gave my body a chance to heal and recover. Looking at my health markers now versus 15 years ago, it's night and day. I gave myself a second chance at life, literally. One of the most profound changes has been mental. The clarity, the sharpness, the ability to think clearly without the fog of alcohol. During those 15 years, I was never fully present. Even when I wasn't actively drunk, I was either hungover or planning my next drink. My mind was always compromised. Sobriety gave me my mind back. I can focus. I can remember things. I can have complex thoughts and conversations. I can problem solve effectively. I'm more creative, more productive, more engaged with life. I'm learning things, growing, expanding my mind in ways I couldn't when I was drinking. This mental clarity is perhaps the gift I treasure most from sobriety. Because it touches everything. Every aspect of my life is better because my mind is clear. 15 years of drinking meant 15 years of stunted emotional growth. I never learned how to properly process emotions, deal with stress, or handle life's challenges. Sobriety forced me to grow up emotionally. To develop the skills I should have learned in my 20s but was too drunk to learn. I had to learn how to sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of numbing them. How to process grief, anger, fear without reaching for a bottle. I learned healthy coping mechanisms. Exercise, meditation, therapy, talking to friends. Actual tools instead of just alcohol. I developed emotional intelligence. Self-awareness. The ability to recognize my feelings and understand where they're coming from. This emotional growth has been painful. Growing always is. But it's made me more resilient, more capable, more fully human. Here's something unexpected. Sobriety taught me gratitude. When you've been to the bottom, when you've almost lost everything, you appreciate the small things. A good night's sleep. A clear morning. Being able to remember yesterday. I'm grateful for my health. For my relationships. For my second chance. For every day I wake up sober. I'm even grateful for the struggle. Because the struggle made me who I am. It gave me empathy, understanding, humility. It taught me I'm not invincible, and that's okay. Gratitude has become a practice for me. Every day, I find things to be grateful for. It keeps me grounded. Reminds me how far I've come. Motivates me to keep going. This gratitude is something I never had when I was drinking. And it's changed everything. My sobriety didn't just change my life. It changed the lives of everyone around me. My family stopped worrying about getting that phone call. My friends stopped having to take care of drunk me. My coworkers stopped having to cover for my mistakes. People could count on me again. Trust me. Rely on me. That meant everything to the people who had watched me destroy myself for 15 years. I've been able to be present for important moments. To support people who need me. To show up consistently in relationships. And unexpectedly, my journey has inspired others. People who saw me at my worst and watched me get sober. Some of them started their own recovery journeys. That ripple effect, knowing that my choice to get sober might have helped someone else make the same choice, that's powerful beyond words. If I could go back and tell my younger self anything, I'd tell him that running from pain only makes it worse. That alcohol isn't a solution, it's a pause button that makes everything harder when you finally press play. I'd tell him that asking for help isn't weakness. That admitting you have a problem is the strongest thing you can do. I'd tell him that life is better on the other side of addiction. Not easier, but better. More real. More meaningful. But I can't go back. I can only move forward with the wisdom I've gained from those 15 years and the years of recovery that followed. I learned that change is possible. That you're never too far gone. That it's never too late to choose a different path. I learned that the hardest decisions often lead to the best outcomes. That discomfort is temporary but regret is permanent. Most importantly, I learned that I'm stronger than I thought. We all are. If you're reading this and you're struggling, I want you to know, you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're running from, whatever you're numbing, you're not alone. I know how isolating addiction feels. How shameful. How hopeless. I know that voice that tells you you're too far gone, that it's too late, that you'll never change. That voice is lying. You can change. You can get sober. You can rebuild your life. I'm living proof. Thousands of people in recovery are living proof. It won't be easy. It might be the hardest thing you ever do. But it's possible. And it's worth it. That first step, making that decision, it's terrifying. But it's also the beginning of everything. Every good thing in my life today started with that one decision. You deserve recovery. You deserve peace. You deserve a life not controlled by substances. You deserve to be free. I don't know what the future holds. I can't predict where I'll be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. But I know this, I'll be sober. Because sobriety isn't a phase or a chapter. It's the foundation of everything I'm building. I have dreams now. Real dreams that aren't obscured by alcohol. Goals I'm actually working toward. A future I'm excited about. I want to keep growing. Keep healing. Keep building this life I've created. I want to be there for the people I love. I want to make a difference. I want to help others who are where I was. To show them that recovery is possible. That they're not alone. That there's hope. 15 years of drinking took a lot from me. But one decision gave me everything back. And every day I make that decision again, I'm choosing life. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing freedom. And that decision will always be the best decision I ever made. If this video resonated with you, if you're on your own recovery journey or supporting someone who is, leave a like and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And in the comments, I want to hear from you. Whether you're celebrating years of sobriety, struggling with day one, or supporting someone in recovery, share your story. Let's build a community where nobody has to fight this alone. Recovery is possible. You are worth it. And it's never too late to make that one decision that changes everything. Stay strong. Stay sober. I'll see you in the next video.